Good morning, everyone. We're live. Got the morning hair going. Let's go ahead and cap it up. Ready to rock and roll. It is 9:15 a.m. Eastern. Hope you're all doing well. Quickly go through the charts here. Make sure you guys can hear me. I think you can. Microphone's on. Screen is sharing. Drawing tools are working. I think we're good. All right. So let's go ahead. You can see from, I've still got all this phlegm in here, guys. I'm doing my best, but it's all good. So you can see here on the daily chart, yesterday we got shot down out of the extension resistance right at the old trend high right there, right? And I did think we would see some weakness overnight because we did close underneath the true average. What's up, Bluey? Good morning, man. But I also said to be aware of the crossover support zone here. We don't quite have the crossover on ES, but we do have the crossover here on NQ, a big crossover. And that reinforces that support level. So I said, be careful of that. So, what do I expect for today, guys? I kind of expect a range bound day. I think the market is waiting for what China and the US are going to discuss this weekend in Switzerland. And I think the market's just going to be range bound. So I'm going to look for good opportunities if we get any shorts up into, these DMLs up here. If we get any longs into these DMLs down here in the middle of the envelope, that's kind of how I want to look to play the indices, look to play the chop playbook, look for congestion, okay? The Dow, you can see, also has the crossover support right here. Looking like it'll be well supported probably, even though there's going to be some resistance pushing down. It looks like we're going to have some support for the rest of the day. We'll see what happens. Ultra bonds, I expect chop as well. You can see here we did kind of fire through, but we recovered. We're kind of stuck between support here and resistance here. So we'll look to play the chop strategy on ultra bonds. Gold was said in the analysis last night that like the support level here. I think gold is just the one thing. It'll also probably be choppy, but I'm more inclined to take the long side on pullbacks into gold because I think this is an exhaust. I think there's a lot of support here on gold. Silver, same thing, choppy. You can see all the markets are kind of waiting for this US-China talk over the weekend because they're all stuck between their DMLs and the middle of the envelope. So silver is the same. I expect a lot of support down here on silver. So I'll be looking for strategies to go long into the support level. Crude, kind of similar, although it looks a little stronger. You're probably going to have a lot of support on crude if you do come back to test anywhere down into 60 or below. Probably a good spot to go long crude potentially. Crude seems to be rallying on the back of hopes for these Chinese-US trade talks. And you guys know how it's going to be, right? The weekend's going to go by. I'm guessing there's going to be no big breakthrough, and then, it'll be back to the downside. But we'll have to wait and see for that. So let's go ahead and do our check for, what's up, Jose? How you doing, man? Good morning. Let's do our check here on, so ES, we can see we've got our game plan for the day, guys. We know the strategies that we want to implement, and now we just wait for the market to come to us and give us clear signals into those zones with the good patterns on the intraday chart. So with ES, you can still see we've got some volume left to be traded here. And then I can always anticipate. This is what I like to do here, guys, for these checks. Now, let's say that this on ES closes kind of, up in here and we get a flash for a potential reversal into this resistance level. Would I short that? Maybe. We'd have to see. It's I'm not that clear on the daily yet, but it's still into a decent resistance zone. I just think that there's going to be more support. So I'm kind of at this stage. I know yesterday I said these are, there's good resistance here, but I want to see what was going to happen in London and Asia. And I think the buy side is going to be the better side for today on indices, unless something strange happens. So that's why I'm going to be a little bit more careful on the short side for the indices today. Be looking for pullbacks to get long into good pockets, things like that. So for ES, if we do get an opportunity to short up here on a flash or something, we'll see. If we were to get, way overextended way up in here, yeah, then I could probably short a nice flash to come back down into the range. But let's see where that closes. Let's look at the Nasdaq. Nasdaq, we still have quite a bit of contracts left to be traded here until this bar closes. But it looks to me like it wants to push here heading into open. The Nasdaq looks like it probably wants to push back up toward these highs. The core DML will act like a magnet for resistance up in here. So it kind of looks here that we're in the process. We went trend reversal to the downside yesterday. Now we're going trend reversal back up. So I would expect this to keep pushing. Let's look at the Dow. We did just get a close on the Dow here. So we want to check these closes very carefully. Every time we get a new close on our volume-based intraday chart, we want to check that, make sure we're not missing any signals, okay? So my goal from now on, live streaming every day with you guys, is that I don't want to miss any signals due to my chatterbox and explaining things. I want to focus first and primary on taking the trades. We had a good trade on ES last time we live streamed. That brought all the Tradeify accounts back into positive territory, which is fantastic. Got a couple of XFAs that are up nicely, 3 more that are down halfway. So see if we can run those back up. That'll be fun. All right, so with this Dow that just closed here, no pattern that I would do anything with. So we'll wait. Let's go ahead and look at the Ultra bonds. Again, I don't think I can trade Ultra bonds on Tradeify, but I think I can trade them on Top Step. And in terms of the US Treasury market, I really like the Ultra bonds the best because they give you a little bit more bang for the buck in terms of the tick value and the movement, the volatility. So we're going to get a close here on Ultra bonds. The question would be, if we fire up here, would I want to short that? I mean, probably not, because you're breaking all this. We're just looking for really high quality setups, you guys. We don't need to be in a rush. We can let the market come to us. Gold, we still have about 6,000 contracts left till this bar closes. No pattern there yet. Obviously, we're going to get a lot of volatility coming in here in the next 5 minutes at the open. So some volume will come in and we'll see what we've got shaken. Silver's about to close here. So this is what we want to do. Say, okay, silver's about to close. Do we have a pattern? Well, you guys tell me. I would say no, because this market is in congestion and we're in the very middle of this range. There's really nothing that I want to trade there with silver. I mean, to give you an example, this was a beautiful silver buy pattern that we teach in the course. Right here, you can see there's your pocket. It challenges the daily core DML support. It challenges the VolPro reaction support level. So there's your daily support level right there. You can see it over here on the daily chart right there. That's overlaid right there, right? So you can see that bar went down, tested that, sucked back up. Now you're closing above the congestion and extension DML support levels. So those are supports. They were broken, but you closed above them. You're above all this. That's a buy. And you got this beautiful pocket. It's kind of like a flash pocket, but more of a pocket. So that's a buy. Those are the trades we're looking for, guys. And then in terms of how long you want to hold them, do you want to add to them? Those are the nuances. That takes time, right? It takes time to learn all that stuff. Personally, I'm working on, especially on my Top Step side, I want to work on, number one, being more aggressive, trading bigger size, and also when I know that I'm right, I want to really add. So on those accounts that I have about almost $5,000 in profit, I think I can trade up to 5 or 10 contracts on those Top Step accounts. So I'm going to be careful with that. But when I know that I'm right, I want to really push it. All right. So here's silver about to close. So we're just going to constantly cycle through these markets looking for good opportunities because these are the 7 major futures markets. And there's going to be great opportunities, all day, every day. Just, if you're staring at, if you're trading London, you guys, which is what, no, this happened Asia. If you're trading Asia, I didn't trade Asia last night. If you're trading Asia and you're staring at the Nasdaq, you're missing this buy signal on silver. Like it doesn't matter that it's silver. It's still a really, really good buy signal because everything with VolPro Edge is just, it's working on whatever market you put it on. You just got to wait for the patterns, types of trading, all that kind of stuff. So there's your silver close. You can see right there. You got a little flash down here, but I don't want to short or long that. Not clear. All right, so we're gonna get the open here, guys, in about 3 minutes. You can see the clock up here. My clock is 9:26 and 53 seconds. So you can check your latency against my clock here. Okay. Morning, David. How you doing, my friend? Yeah, David, I'm gonna have to do that when we're done streaming, okay? Or when I have some downtime, but I will check. I'm guessing it's because did you download the new charts that I put? Did you download these charts? Because on these charts, if you go charts, chart settings for the daily, you'll see this used to be on historical chart on my old charts, but in order to get the overlay correct on the intraday charts, I set this to intraday chart like that, and then you get 1 0 0. So that could be why the levels are different. What's up, Christian? Good morning, my friend. Cheers. So David, we'll get all that worked out, buddy. Don't worry about it. We'll make sure your charts are the same. They should be the same. So Christian, if you're just joining us, you can just rewind and watch on 2x speed to catch up. All right. We're going to open here. Somebody, can you guys let me know what the latency is? It's 9:28 and almost 30 seconds. Yeah, we'll get you squared away, David. All right, so ES. Still got a few contracts left to close here. Let's look at Nasdaq because we want to cycle through these guys. The name of the game is just to follow the 3 major indices here. We got ES, NQ, and Dow. Then we got the treasuries. Do you want to trade the 10-year note? No, not unless you want to die of boredom. So we trade the ultra bond. And then you got the 2 main metals, gold, silver. And then you got the energy, crude. The only one I don't have up here is Bitcoin, because the props really they don't let you trade much leverage on Bitcoin. And then the dollar, I don't really, intraday volatility on the euro against the dollar is not really my thing. So that's why I chose these 7 markets. So we want to scroll through and look and make sure we're not missing anything in terms of when these bars are closing. So right now, Ultra Bonds is giving us a close here. It's not a bad little resistance pocket here on Ultra Bonds. Then then you just scroll through, guys. You look, you say, okay, well, look, that's kind of a nice little pocket. You're holding the extension. Would I want to short Ultra Bonds there? It's not a bad short, but I'm not going to take it. And the reason is because, we're into this daily support level. Now it's already shown itself to be weak, so we could definitely just fire straight back down like this. So I don't think it's a terrible trade, but I'm not going to take it because I want daily levels to lean into, right? So I want to, like this right here, I wasn't trading Ultra Bonds at Asia, but if you were, that's a trade right there. You got a little bit of a 2-bar push here, right into the extension, bang, right? This is kind of like an extended flash here. And look, you're right into the daily true average resistance, which on the daily chart is stacked right there. So that is overlaid. Oh, then you're getting a signal right at a key daily level. So that's what we're looking for. So that's how I'm filtering these. That's why I'm not going to short that. Although, sure, it could go down. I don't know. Looks to me like it could. All right, let's go. The markets are open, and I think we're going to see a very choppy, muted day on the back of these trade talks that are coming apparently over this weekend, which is probably going to be a whole circus fiasco. But you know, the markets will probably await that. So we're expecting chop today, guys, and we're going to play the chop playbook. Now, if we start to break out to the upside and we start screaming, fine. Then we'll look for trend plays, right? So we just got to trade the market that's in front of us. And I've got really delicious coffee this morning, you guys, and I shaved, which feels fantastic. I no longer look homeless, which is nice. No offense to the homeless. We got a lot of lovely homeless people around here. It's pretty cool about Costa Rica. Like, you can just put a tent and sleep anywhere. Like, the beaches are so beautiful, and people are just camping out. You walk by all these tents on the beach in Costa Rica, you get high just when you're walking by. Yeah, totally, Gluey. It's all coming. I got to get ready for the baby. You know, I've been pretty stressed about that, you guys, just because we're in Costa Rica. Yeah, my family's flying down, you know, for the birth, which would be awesome. But still, you know, we don't have my wife's family. They're in Sweden. We don't have aunts and uncles, so it's kind of everything's on us. So it's been pretty stressful. But you know, we're looking for a nanny to help out, which will be nice. All right, so ES is gonna give us a close here, guys. You can see 55,400 contracts have been traded. This is a 60,000 volume chart. So we've got about 5,000 contracts left. And the question we got to anticipate, okay, we got a little flash here. True. We do have some nice DMLs right here. You know, do we want to short? You know, I'm not going to, because my bias right now is slightly more long than short, but it's not a terrible trade. And I would want to be higher up against this daily level, right? So that's why I won't take that. But we'll see what happens with it. It's not a bad, it's kind of like the ultra bonds trade. It's not a terrible short. But we're not really here to just take not terrible trades. We want to take, like, you know, decent trades like we took at FOMC. For those of you who missed that, I mean, we pretty much eyed two trades and they were both, you know, really nice because everything was lining up on that Dow double bar exhaust long, and then the ES congestion pocket long. Those were nice trades. So those are the kind of trades we're looking for. The ones where all the boxes get checked, right? So when I look at a trade, I'm trying to find what I don't like about it. And if I find really even one thing I don't like, I know it's better just to say, let that one pass because there'll be more, right? So let's go ahead and make sure we don't miss any other closes. Nasdaq pushing, not going to be a signal there. And we can also look at, you know, you look at the Nasdaq, you look at the Dow. So the Dow gave us a close here. Really nothing I'd want to do with that at all. Ultra bonds just kind of sitting here. And this is another thing too, guys. I know sometimes it can feel a little bit overwhelming when you're looking at these, let's say 7 markets, but I promise you, if you learn how to cycle through and just don't get into the weeds, but just, you know, if you want to use an hourly chart or you're going to use volume-based charts, and you just cycle through and look for good setups, it's a very productive and efficient way to trade every day. And you'll also get a feel for how the markets are moving in relation to each other, right? So, you know, one of the reasons I really like that ES long here for FOMC, right there, caught that long right there, took profit like 21 points higher, which, yeah, I could have obviously taken more, but you never know. But one of the reasons I liked that long was not only because we had a great pocket support pattern here right into this daily core DML support. This is just beautiful. But also the Dow at that time was not budging, and the Nasdaq wasn't budging either. So as ES was trying to push lower, the Dow and the Nasdaq were just saying, right? And so that also tipped the hat off there. You'll start to see these things in real time, and it can give you a nice added little read, you know, and you don't have to know that to trade VolPro Edge. You can just trade your patterns all by themselves. But once you start to learn to read what's going on in the different markets, it will be very helpful to you. So I hope that helps. Yeah, exactly. I mean, it's a lot going on, and you mean with the baby, Christian? Yeah, all that stuff. Yeah, it's a lot. Hmm. Or you mean the markets? It's a lot going on everywhere. The family with the baby, the markets, and this cold thing is finally starting to cycle through, which is nice. Yeah. So basically, let's go to these top steppers. I was I took a couple short scalps on gold yesterday because I thought there was a chance we would run at the open on gold. We didn't. So I was like, I would go in and move to break even, go in and move to break even. And in the end, I thought, I think gold's going to be strong, but it looks like it wants to dump first and I got to go to bed. So I just cut those. Anyways, these are the accounts here, these three, where I was betting on that silver pullback and it just wasn't cooperating. And so at least I managed to cut it, before blowing the whole draw, which is nice because I was really believing in that silver trade, especially because on these two accounts here, I hit those winners on that silver trade prior. So then when it pulled back, this is how you can also use XFAs, guys, like what I do. So when I took my profit on these two XFAs for almost 10K, then on that pullback on silver, I thought, you know what? I want to use these fresh ones. I don't want to touch that profit because that's profit now, right? So I want to use these because I got these XFAs for probably about a little less than $1,000 each. If you look at my all-in cost, maybe around $1,000. So I'm like, okay, well, I've got almost 10,000 in profit, sitting over here. Well, I'd rather use the draw on these fresh ones. So if I'm wrong, I'm at least using their draw, not my profits. You know what I mean? So these are the things and then I also took a little loss on my live account as well because I just thought silver was going to go up and it just didn't. And sometimes that'll happen, guys. Not a whole lot we can do about it. And then the Tradeify accounts, yeah, kind of rescued those from the dead, which is nice. All right, I'm yapping. Let's make sure that I don't miss anything. Yeah, the prop strategies. Hey, Lily, how are you? Yeah, you can hear I'm still working through this thing, but I'm feeling a little better. I kind of just took a lazy day yesterday in bed and tried to rest, and it's going a little better. But yeah, this whatever this thing is powerful. We miss you. Hope you're well. Lily's in the Canary Islands, our family friend, from where we used to live there. All right. So good morning, Dave. Welcome. How you doing, Dave? All right. So Dave, if you're just joining us, you can just rewind and then watch forward on 2x speed, and you'll kind of just get the lay of the land in terms of where we're at, what we're doing. So right now, let's do our best to not miss any closes. So ES closed, boom, right there. And guys, I'm pointing to this is clear, right? Why I point to the volume, because each one of these bars will move and close when the volume reaches 60,000. All right, that's why I'm pointing out the volume. So I was explaining you got this flash pattern here on ES for a potential short. It's not bad, but I'm kind of more inclined to play the long side today, so I'm not going to take this. And we're also not leaning into the daily resistance level yet. So that's why I'm passing on that flash pattern for ES. And NQ just got to close here. See, bang. So we're right into the new bar. And then I want to look at that bar and say, do I have a pattern there? No, I don't. So I'm just going to let Nasdaq just keep doing its thing. Dow's kind of stuck. As I keep saying, I think we're going to have a very choppy day awaiting these U.S. Sino trade talks over the weekend in Switzerland. Switzerland's one of my old fun stomping grounds. I've spent an enormous amount of time in Zurich. Zurich's a nice city, but not during the winter. It's very, very Lake Zurich just makes that whole area so wet and rainy and cold and dark. But Zurich is a beautiful city. All right, let's look at so ultra bonds not doing much here. Gold, yeah, kind of grinding higher. Yeah, so this is last night at the open. I thought, okay, there's a chance gold could push, but then when I saw it dumping, I was like, nah, it wants to go lower, and I gotta go to bed. But see, this is the same thing too, guys. If you're up and you're okay, cool, Dave, nice. if you guys are awake and you are trading Asia or London, I mean, this is why you want to look at these markets. I mean, look at this 2-bar exhaust, 1, 2, and guys, look, I mean, these levels are, when this bar closes, this extension is here. It's sitting here waiting. It's just there. It's like it tested, held on close, you know. Yeah, you don't have a daily level to lean on, but you know, this is a pretty nice daily exhaust to the downside. There should be a lot of support here. That's a good trade. These are the ones I like because if they're gonna work, they gotta work quickly. So you can have a tight stop. All right. Let's see. Gold. Yeah, gold just about to close here on gold. Question is, do we see any pattern here? No. I mean, look, if gold in the next, 700 contracts managed to close down here into a pocket, I could consider potentially longing that because you got a nice daily congestion DML. Gold seems to want to push higher, but right here, I don't see anything I like. This is just kind of grinding. So I'll wait. So that's how I'm filtering these out, you guys. And let me know how you like the new format. I think once you get used to it, you're really going to like it. It's a lot more fun to scroll through and look for good setups on the 7 major markets instead of sitting here watching Nasdaq. Like why stare at Nasdaq when it's doing nothing when you can get an opportunity on another market? Yeah, the trend on gold, Gluey, I mean, it's not a bad trend. We're making higher highs, lower lows. We're above the middle of the envelope. We're closing outside the top of the envelope. But if I wanted to get in on this trend, I like to get in at the congestion support level down here. I wanted to test down here, get in for a push higher. I don't necessarily, on a really strong trend, then you can start getting in, at the true average or the middle of the envelope. But this is not strong enough for my liking right now. Yeah, it's kind of just like a grinding trend. Hope that makes sense, Bluey. You guys can ask questions anytime. I'm just, I'm kind of learning and getting better as we're streaming together. I'm getting better focusing on the actual trading because I gotta get back to my own actual trading and then teaching and answering questions and all that kind of stuff. But let me know what you guys think about the new format. If it feels overwhelming to you, don't worry. It will start to get easier. So crude, we had a close on crude there. Big congestion entrance down bar, broke the support. As I said with crude, I wouldn't be against longing crude somewhere down in here. That's where I could potentially long crude. So, okay, well, what if this bar closes like that? And then what if the next bar goes down like that and gives me an exhaust? Well, what would I have? Well, I'd have a flash. I can already see I've got these extensions down here. I'd be right at the middle of the daily. Yeah, would I take that for a reversal back up? I would. So that's what I'm waiting for with crude, right? So this is how you kind of learn to anticipate. You gotta pick your levels on the daily and then just wait for the market to come to you. See, so now we just cycle right back through to ES, and we can see that flash is having a temporary effect on price for sure, which is nice. But I would like it just to drive it down here into the pocket to try to get long to maybe push back up like that. And say, okay, well, am I bummed that I didn't take the short side here? Not really. Not really. So I'm just going to blow my nose here, guys. 1 second. All right. I'll be doing a lot of nose blowing today. So yeah, so we'll see where this goes. And let me know if you guys are trading your TradingView charts or you're looking at anything else. If you see a setup you like, I can always take a little peek at it for you. If you're running your own system right now, that's fine. Yeah, you don't have to do what I'm doing. as I explained, I just have to do something that's going to work for me when the baby's coming. And this setup is great because I'm going to do my best to trade mostly the New York Open. But like I said, if the baby is, keeping me up till 4 in the morning one night, I can't feel the pressure to wake up at 6 and trade the New York Open because I won't be able to function. So then I have this set up here. So if I fire up the stream at 11 in the morning, Eastern or noon or 1, there'll still be good setups because we have all 7 markets to look at here. And we'll start to get in the flow in sync with these markets. Gap fills. I mean, not really, Jan. I mean, I'm familiar with, that gaps like to get filled and all that kind of stuff, but my system's kind of independent of everything else. And then you can just, once you start understanding how my system works, you can just plug it into, different things like gap fills or, whatever you want. A lot of people, I mean, we've got some people in our group that have only been with VolPro Edge for about a month, and they had some other strategies they liked that have nothing to do with VolPro Edge, but they weren't able to get consistent with them. And now they've taken bits and pieces from VolPro Edge and they've gotten consistency with their other strategies. So I would have never even thought, I thought when I brought VolPro Edge out, I'm just teaching how I use VolPro Edge and people will use it the way I use it. But I love that people are taking it and combining it with other things and using it to confirm or deny their signals. Electronic and official grade that fill. Yeah. Yeah, we could fill it. How's your trading going today, Jan? Copper. 1 sec, Louis. Don't want to miss anything. So here's the Dow. So you just got to close on the Dow right here. I'm not going to take this because you have a double pocket. I advise against double pockets. Do you guys see this here? Pocket above, a pocket below. That is uncertainty. So be careful with those. Ultra bonds, we're waiting. Gold, we just got that close. No pattern there for me. Silver, we're waiting on a close. Crude, I am hoping we can flush down here for a potential long at some point. You want to look, okay, let me look at copper for you. I'll look at copper on I don't have it set up on my volume charts, Gluey, but I'll look at it on the hourly. What's your question about copper, Gluey? You're watching, Jan? Yeah, nice, me too. Yeah, I think we're probably gonna come back down here, Jan, but I sort of am in favor of the long side for now. So I'm waiting for potential signals down here. Oh, gold, yeah. On the 1 hour, it's getting higher highs, so just waiting. Okay, so, and Gluey, are you following the trend trading plan or what? How are you looking at this copper? Are you waiting for a potential pullback into the 15-minute congestion support zone? This is what Gluey's talking about, guys. Here's copper. We're starting to trend here. He's thinking maybe wait for a pullback. I mean, I'll just tell you right out of the gates, the one thing I don't like about this is that big spike. You still got all this overhang to deal with. So that would make me nervous about betting on this going to the moon. But that's just my take, Chloe. All right, guys. Let's see. Yes, we're waiting. And Q, we're waiting. Dow, we talked about that. My goal today and my goal every day now, guys, is to not miss a setup, because when I was yapping away on FOMC, I missed that first Dow trade. That would have been like an extra $6,000 in profit on my Tradeifys. I did get the which got me the 6,500 in profit, 1,100 on each account. But You know, I got, I want all of them. So I'm getting better at just not missing anything and getting to the chat. All right, so crude's going to close here soon, but we know we don't have anything there we like. So we're just cycling, waiting for the next close that we just don't want to miss. Probably going to be silver here for the close. Okay, quickly. Trend trading at the moment, nice. And are you scrolling through all the markets, Gluey, like we talked about? And copper was the one where you identified the trend. Guys, Gluey's just using the trend playbook. I uploaded a video on the trend playbook. It looks like a little bit of a squeeze in copper right now, but I just don't like all that overhang from earlier. I mean, I didn't look at copper here on the daily, but we can. I hate these windows. They're like, I hover my mouse over. It's like, do you want to read all the news? It's like, no, I don't want to read the news. Leave me alone. Let's go to copper. And like on the Windows machine, when you're moving stuff around, it's like, oh, do you want us to expand this window? I'm like, every time they try to make Windows better, they make it worse. I wonder if they do that on purpose, just to drive us nuts. So guys, I do expect a very, very choppy day, waiting for these China-US trade talks. So we're just going to be patient and see if we get any good congestion setups on the indices. Likely from the long side is what I'm looking for. And then if any of these other markets give a good setup, like crude, if crude can exhaust into that daily support level at the middle of the envelope, that'd be good. So here's copper that Gluey was asking about. Yeah, I wouldn't be going long copper here. You're right into the daily resistance pocket here. So I don't know what copper is going to do the rest of the day, but it's not one that I would look at, you know, needing to go long. But Gluey, that doesn't mean if you're running the trend trading playbook and you've got rules and you want to follow them, and if that 15-minute copper pulls down to a support level and you want to buy it, you know, you got to do your thing. This is why it's so hard to advise on trades, because everyone is trading their own way. You know, like on copper, are you risking $200 going for $300, or are you looking for a bigger move, right? Yeah, it's really important. No problem, Gluey. It's really important to look at the higher time period daily chart. That's why here I decided to have the dailies up here, because then when you have the dailies up, right here we got our daily bar chart, and then we've got all of our daily levels overlaid here. It makes it very clear to see where you're at, which is helpful. So ES will wait, but if this could smash down here into this pocket, give us a buy, I would have to take that for sure. And I'm aware that, you know, this pattern, it can be quite bearish on the daily, but so far the way we're holding up, I think we're just going to congest up here. That's my feeling about it. I might be wrong. So NQ is going to give us a close shortly, pulling back into a little bit of a pocket here. We're not really close to these lows, so we're kind of in the middle of the range. I would only take this trend pocket if I thought we were going to be like a strong trend day. So I probably wouldn't take that. Whereas if ES came down here, you know, you'd be at least closer to the congestion. Like that's our congestion playbook, because you're at the envelope bottom, right? Whereas Nasdaq, you're not. Let's look at Dow. Still mucking around. Ultra bonds about to get a close, but don't see anything I like there. Let's look at gold. Kind of waiting. Silver is going to give us a close here. Yeah, so I thought this would happen on silver. I said I think, you know, this was just putting in some support here and going to push higher. That's kind of the move I was looking for the day before when I was being very aggressive on silver. And you just never know. Like silver could have pushed back up there. It just didn't. Crude did. And I called crude and I was because crude had a great buy signal. And I was like, okay, should I go for crude or silver? It's like, well, the contract size is bigger on silver, so I'll go silver. But crude was a good buy. All right, so silver's going to close here. We've got a pocket resistance. You're kind of above the middle of the envelope here. You got this core DML. It's not a bad short on silver there, but I'm not going to take it because I'm more bullish on the day. And I want to go in the direction of my daily bias. My daily bias for silver today is from the long side. So you can see how these daily biases, they help you because you look at the market from that side, right? So then therefore, when I would have seen, if I would have seen something like this during Asia, beautiful pocket, I would love that because it's right into my support zone. It's with my daily bias. You got a great intraday pocket pattern right here. I mean, it's perfect. So you get crude about to close, but no pattern that I like. Back to ES. ES is about to close here, a little bit of a pocket, but same reason. Look, this could very well pick this up and push up here. I mean, it could, but, and you are at the true average on the daily. I just don't, on a day like today, I don't feel like I need to get in the middle of the range here. What do we have for news at 10 a.m.? Is that what we're waiting on? Let's check. Is it Michigan today? Something like that? Let's check. Oh no, we got a ton of Fed speakers. Kugler, Goolsby, Waller, Williams. So that's what we got today, guys. We just got all the Fed speak here. Goolsby's coming up at 10. He's a big one. Waller's big. I think these guys are all voting members, so probably be some volatility. All right. So let's go back. Yes. He says, so I'm just patiently waiting here, guys. It's like, that's why somebody like said, oh, well, should we take that flash? Like, I don't want to take it because that's not my plan. But if you're scalping and you want to try to take it from that DML back down to all these DMLs that are stacked, you know, sure, why not? So this is how you got to take it and make it your own. So let's see, Bluey, yeah, you're on your way, man. Guys, you've only been here for like a month, 5 weeks, some of you less. So you're making great progress. Yeah, it's good to have the different screens so you can kind of keep track of the daily and what's going on. And, you know, use my end of day analysis, Gluey, that I post for you guys, right? There's like 20 years of experience and intuition going into those daily analysis videos. So, you know, you'll often get a good tip off on the markets I like and the direction I like. Yeah, Christian, lots of speakers today. Yep. Going to be interesting to see what they say. And we'll get some volatility coming in here at 10 a.m. anyways on the hour. It always does. 25 seconds. Yeah, thanks, Gluey. Appreciate it, man. Glad it helps. Yeah, the daily analysis, I mean, I know I'm biased, but I think they're worth their weight in gold just to not go into the market blind every day. Like, you have a much better sense of what's going on. All right. We're about to get a close here on ES. It's a nice little pocket. I mean, it's really not bad. You got a lot of support here at these DMLs. So again, like if I was scalping, would I look for a long down here? Maybe. Try and push back up here, but I want something more, you know, like right now I got to ask myself, okay, you know, what's the type of trading on ES? Well, technically we're in a trend because we got 1, 2, 3, 4 closes above the middle. So we're trending up. Okay, trend up. You know, here's the pocket. Well, are we making higher highs? No. We are making higher lows. We could squeeze up, but this would be like a trend playbook play. I really only want to take this, in a strong trend. Right now, even though we're technically trending, I mean, we're within the congestion range still, right? So the trend hasn't even broken through the boundary of congestion. Yeah, exactly, Tim Nasi. Yeah. Yeah, just saying like the markets to stay away from, the markets to avoid is huge. Um, and that's what I know a lot of you guys trade the open, and yeah, that's why I'm reworking my schedule because I really want to trade the open with you guys as much as I can, at least from like 9:30 to 11:30, those first 2 hours of the day, so we can not only find some good setups across all of our markets here, but then I can also like, you know, just like, the end of day analysis, I kind of anchor you heading into the whole next day. Then if we start on the days we can start New York together, I can not only find good trades for myself and help you guys out, but then anchor you for the rest of the day so you kind of know what to look for. All right, so let's make sure we're not. So NQ is about to close. Same thing with ES. I mean, I'm not going to take it. It's a nice, I mean, NQ could definitely squeeze up here for sure. Um, I just something I don't. It's not clicking for me. Dow's in the middle here. Bonds are hanging out. About to get a close here on bonds, but nothing. Okay, gold's starting to roll over a little bit, so at least we got some movement somewhere. So we'll see where gold closes. Silver, that's kind of what we talked about. There's that pocket right there. Selling off a little out of that pocket. Crude, we're waiting. I muted you guys for that cough. You're welcome. Gotta blow my nose. Give me a second, guys. All right, gonna refill the coffee. Be right back. All right, guys, got the coffee refilled. Hey Adam, welcome, man. Yeah, it's nice with the daily levels here and the new live streaming. I don't know if you had a chance to review, let's say the FOMC live stream. I think you were sleeping or that was late for you, but we used this format and had a couple of nice calls. Good trade on ES, and this is the format we'll be sticking with for the live streaming. But that doesn't mean, like some people message me and say, well, what if I'm trading my own strategy? Yeah, trade your own strategy, 100%, guys. This is just what I need to do. So I got to kind of incorporate what I'm streaming and teaching you guys to what I need to do for myself. So ES, we're waiting. NQ, I think these are going to push, guys. That's kind of my feeling about it. But I'm just waiting for specific signals. Dow, we got nothing. Oh yeah, and I'll talk a little bit more about the algos as well. I don't know if you're here, KLR, but my programmer, we're looking into how long it's going to take for NinjaTrader now. KLR wants NinjaTrader. Maybe there's a couple other people that want NinjaTrader, so it'll be good to have. So we're looking into that. All right, so there's a close on the ultra bonds. Is that a signal that I like? Nah. Let's look at gold. Kind of pulling back here, but still got a ways to go. Silver, yeah, see, it was pushing down, but now see, so this is kind of a good example where if you trade from the right side of the market, the stronger side, you're just gonna stack the odds a little bit more in your favor. Obviously you got to kind of have an idea of what the right side is, but as you see here, we've got a pretty good idea a good part of the time. And then that just helps you stay out of potential, like this pocket here on silver. It had an initial effect, but now it's, pushing because the daily's bullish, right? So you want to stay away from shorts. So crude is bullish. That's why I'd love to get, where are all my DMLs, my dynamic market levels. These are support levels. They're all stacked right here. So if crude gives me a little bit of a flush here down into the 60 area, especially if I got a flash pattern with a extension support down there, that would be a great spot to take a stab at longing crude, right? Risk maybe a couple $100 to try to make 1,000 or something like that. These are the trades that I like to wait for. So let's go back to ES. All right. I mean, so far, guys, you see why I like this 7 market format is because look at NQ and ES right now, right? Doing absolutely nothing. Whereas if we keep patiently waiting, the likelihood is that we're going to have a good setup on, gold or silver or crude or ultra bonds, right? So it's nice to kind of diversify a little bit. I do think the indices want to squeeze up to those highs. I think Nasdaq wants to go up to 20,350 to test that daily resistance DML, that dynamic market level there. It's right there on the daily. You got the old extension. I think Nasdaq wants to jump up there, right? So if I was scalping now, I would be scalping from the long side. So Dow hanging out. Ultras, we're waiting. So now the question with gold, would that be a good spot to long gold? Kind of tricky. You do have the daily envelope bottom here in green. But you also have the congestion support level. I would kind of prefer gold closer to the reaction support level down here. That's kind of my feeling about gold at this exact moment. And we'll see. I mean, when this closes, right? If it breaks its own support levels here and the daily one there, we close here, then yeah, it's probably going to go there. Would I trade that reversal? I wouldn't, because that's just not, I like to buy into support and sell into resistance. That's my preferred type of trading. Silver's still sitting here. Crude doing nothing. So very, very muted day today, guys, with this the mark everything. See, it's not just the indices, it's all the markets are waiting for the US China trade talks to see what happens. So just gonna have to stay patient and see what happens. Which market, Adam? So here's the Dow. We're about to get a close on the Dow here. I don't see anything I like. Very muted. Bonds. So gold will be our next close here. You can see on the footprint, we've got some selling. And guys, these footprints will tip you off nicely. I mean, if you go back and watch the FOMC recording, I was talking about the ES long that we took right there. It was like 20 and a half, 56.20 and a half. No, 56.20 and a quarter, I think is what it was here. Another reason I really like that, not only were Dow and Nasdaq holding while S&P was trying to push, we had a beautiful pocket. We're into this support level. We're in congestion. We got our congestion, our range bound playbook. So it was a great buy, but then the footprint also tipped me off. Look, it had a peak negative delta of 1351 and it closed at 206, meaning what? That shows you that the shorts are trapped and they're going to have to cover, and boom, that's what happened. So it's important to use that footprint as well, guys. You can get all these little clues make a nice difference when you're matching up the patterns and the type of trading, and you're scrolling through the different markets, and then you've got the footprint there just kind of confirming the levels you're looking at. You know, it helps stack the probabilities on your side. So we're just waiting for closes here. You can see ES. I mean, you see how we're just staying out of trouble, guys? Waiting. This market's doing nothing. Probably a lot of people in here are getting chopped up and spit out because they don't have a plan, right? We're waiting. We're waiting for the next close. NQ, we're waiting for the next close. The Dow is about to close right here. You can see we've got 4,000 contracts traded. This is a 4,000 contract volume based bar chart. Now that we're about to close, I ask myself, do I have a pattern there on the Dow? Do I have a signal with VolPro Edge that I want to take? I don't. So then I'm just not worried about the Dow. It can do whatever it wants. Let's go to Ultra Bonds. Waiting for a close, but we're just kind of grinding. Gold was about to close earlier. Let's see. So gold will be our next decision here because this is a 12,000 contract bar chart for gold, and we've traded 9,200 contracts. So we got a couple thousand contracts left to trade. And the question here for gold is, all right, am I bullish on the day? Yeah. Yeah, like I said in the end of day analysis I posted yesterday, I think there's a lot of support down here. The intraday chart here, we're trending up, and now we're going for congestion entrance to the downside. So up, up, up. Okay, boom, congestion entrance down. So I got to ask myself the checklist, the questions. Will this congestion support level, do I anticipate this to be strong? Because anticipation based on the playbook is what it's all about. Because if I anticipate that to be strong, then I'm anticipating that we're going to stay in congestion and cycle back up here. And then say, oh, okay, well, I would want to buy that, right? If I anticipate that being strong. Right now, I don't anticipate that being strong. And I'm waiting for this close, because if we close below all these dots, we're breaking key support, you know, then we're probably headed down here. And then this would be a spot. Let's say gold gives a nice little 2-bar exhaust like this, right into the extension here, right into the VolPro reaction support level there on the daily, bang, right there. Now, if that happened, I'm anticipating, okay, yeah, that'd be a spot I could definitely look to buy for gold to suck back up. right? So it's just about picking your spots. So that's NQ, Adam. Okay. I don't know. Let's see. 7:30. Oh, yeah, I'm guessing. You see how the volume charts kind of disguise it so much better? You're talking this here. Yeah, I don't know what that was. Oh, I see it over on Top Step. Yeah, sorry, here. Um, that one. Yeah. You see how wacky that looks on the 5-minute chart? And then if you look at, the volume-based chart, see how it's nice and smooth. That's why I like the volume-based charts. Yeah, it's probably Trump. Was that Truth Social? Is that Trump's platform? I don't even know. It's gonna blow my nose. All right. So let's just see if we can get some action. See if we can get some setups today. Video fan dude. My platform is going to be called For Reals, bruh. I like it. I'll join. Let me know when we're all ready. I mean, welcome, dude. Welcome to the chat. We are doing a good job, patiently waiting for setups. We've got our analysis anchored. We plan for the day in our end of day analysis. We come into the day seeing what Asia and London did. We're waiting for our intraday setups. I mean, it's like we're following a recipe and baking a cake. I like it. I got a little more energy today because whatever this cold man flu thing is cycling through, hopefully. We are going to Escazú in San Jose on Tuesday, but the driver is not coming until noon, so I will stream the Open Monday, Tuesday. I want to stream the Open every day with you guys, so especially now that I'm feeling healthier, because I really like this format. But I'll be streaming from the Airbnb starting on Wednesday morning. That'll be cool. See how I got to figure out how to set up that office, but it's a beautiful place, guys. I can't wait to show it to you guys. The only bummer is I got to leave my beach pad and go to the city. I prefer the beach. I'm going to miss the beach. Okay, Adam. Nice, bro. Cheers, buddy. Thanks for stopping by. Good luck with your trading. So let's make sure we're not missing anything here. ES, we're waiting. NQ, Dow, Ultra Bonds. Gold was going to be, so gold is going to close here shortly. See, it picked up support there. See, that's why I like to wait for the closes as well, because it just makes life easier, right? Can you imagine if you're scrolling through these markets and you're like, it's just better to wait for the closes and then you're anchored. You just make your decisions off the closes. That's why I like to do it, because trading is all about, number one, like risk management, and try to not make too many mistakes. If you can try to focus on limiting your mistakes, the rest will take care of itself. So like waiting for the closes on my intraday charts, that's just something I've, developed where I like to do that, and that helps eliminate more mistakes. I still make mistakes from time to time, like silver the other night. I still made money, but I was a little too aggressive. Yeah, David, I got your NQ. I don't know if you're still here, David, but I see your daily chart. I think you're gonna have to change your settings like I showed in the beginning of the video. So I'll help you with that. We'll get you squared away, David. All right, so gold's about to close here. Sucking up out of this pocket. You know, would I buy this here in the middle of the range? No. You know, I just wouldn't. Might go up, might go down. Let's wait. I mean, I would say most days normally 50 minutes, 50 minutes into the session, we're going to already have a trade on something. But today you can see these markets are just doing nothing because of the China-US talks on the horizon. All right, so crude, this would be cool if crude could give us an exhaust down here. I would look at all these. This is important, guys. You see these old extensions, that one, this one, the live one. You see how they're stacked down here? That's nice. When you see a grouping of them, guys, that's nice. So I'm still waiting for crude to come down here to maybe buy it. See you, Gluey. Sleep well, buddy. Have a nice weekend. So here's ES. About to close. Some pretty good selling coming in. Maybe Goolsby, Fed Speaker Goolsby, maybe he said something. Now, if we, you know, went down here to that extension, that will lower the reaction level down here for a flash. I'd probably buy that. So I got to get ready. All right, let's see. $88 is where we're at. So let's keep an eye on this. I'd really want it to go down here, like 83. It could. We got 3,000 contracts left, and I would want the VolPro reaction support level here to shift down. So let's watch. At least something's happening. So I'm stalking along here, guys. I might long if we flush down here into the extension. There's also the daily envelope top there. It's the bottom of our congestion range. And look, I might be dead wrong, but there is support there. So let's wait and see. That VolPro reaction needs to shift. If that stays like that, I don't like this trade, because then the support level is above us, so it's resistance. So all these little clues will help to keep you out of suboptimal trades. So let's see, watch this carefully. See if this VolPro reaction support level shifts. And when I say shifts, guys, I mean that, that this will not be like that. Instead, it could come down like that. That would be better. Let's see if that happens. Okay, there's the close. That did not happen. You still got support here, but with this like that, I'm not going to buy it. I'm going to wait. Not a bad spot down in here, you know, but I'll wait. I'm waiting for ones that I like, but we stocked it. So now Nasdaq also going to get a close. Let's see. It could be similar on the Nasdaq. And you got a lot of support here on the Nasdaq, even more support than ES, because on the daily chart, you've got that crossover. I mean, this is a strong support zone right here, right? Even though we do have a daily short pattern, like I said in the end of day analysis, but you had to be aware that you're going against all that support, right? So now let's see on the Nasdaq. Got to change my settings here. Guess I need to go long. it's kind of a similar situation here with the Nasdaq. I would definitely be interested in a long down here, but I do want to see that VolPro reaction come down, that support level, that blue line, right? So let's see what the Nasdaq does. Make sure we're not missing anything while we're stocking. Dow kind of similar. You're setting up for a little flash down here, but we got time to wait for the Dow. Bonds are pushing. Bonds probably aren't a terrible short up in here, especially if you get a flash. Gold, we don't have to worry about. Silver in the middle. Crude trying to drop. All right. So Nasdaq, let's see, it may just plow straight through that support and then we wait. See what ES is doing. Yeah. So you see how we just used the basic signs to try to pick good spots. So now if you, the ES, my next anticipation is that this could be going for a 2-bar exhaust down here. So let's see where this closes. It could be a good long down there. NQ is you know, disqualifying this because we're breaking through our extension support pink dot. So we don't want to have anything to do with that. So I'm guessing Fed Speaker Goolsbee said something. Because you can see gold's pushing a little higher. Indices are selling off. So, you know, a little bit of a fear impulse coming into the market. Silver's going to close, but I can already see I don't really like anything here for silver. The crude I'm waiting for down here. ES could give us a potential. So ES would be like, this is called scenario analysis, right? So let's go back and look at gold from Asia. You see this, guys? Look at this pattern here. Look at that bar, and then look at, you're coming out of that flash. Look at the VolPro reaction support levels here. You see how they're all breaking? And then look, boom, straight down into a 2-bar exhaust, right to the extension. There's your reversal, straight back up. So this is a scenario analysis. This situation happened on gold earlier. So it could be, you see how the pattern? Yeah, you don't have the flash here, but you're coming out of the pocket and you're setting up for a potential 2-bar exhaust into that extension. And now we also want to keep an eye on the footprint. That'll be telling as well. So let's see. I think Nasdaq is going to disqualify. Yeah. So Nasdaq, I mean, you broke all that, so I'm not going to touch that. But let's. I don't want to miss anything here, so let's make sure. Change my DOMs back to ES. All right. The DOMs are changed. Yeah, so Dow's giving you a little bit of a subtle flash down in here. I like this support area down here on this 2-bar, depending where this closes. Ideally, like we just talked about with the scenario analysis with gold, you know, we'd close down near the extension. And see, in this case, yeah, the true average and all that was above you, but you just had too many good reasons still to take it. So with ES, you know, sure, if the true average is underneath us, that's even better. But if it's above us, we may not let that dissuade us from taking the trade. Let's go. I think the Dow is going to close sooner, but we'll keep an eye. Ultras. Yeah. Gold's sitting there. Silver got to close, but see, I don't need to take that. Crude, I'm still waiting. We're going to close soon, but we're not in my zone yet for the daily. So we can look at Dow and ES, because the Dow as well, I mean, this is, This is not a bad, you got a little flash there, right? You guys see the sections? 1, 2, and then boom, 3. And it's kind of into this overall big pocket. We are at some key daily support. It's crossover here on the daily, middle of the envelope. So, and you tagged the extension. So, we'll see where it closes. You got the core there. I kind of have a feeling it wants to punch through these lows first, but let's see. See what ES does here. We still got half the bar left to close on ES. Keep an eye on Dow. I just think ES looks better. Nasdaq trying to push. It's not a bad setup there on the Dow. It might be worth a little risk. I gotta think about that. We'll watch it and see. It might be worth a little risk. The Dow is a smaller contract size too, right? It's like $5 a point. So you can see that the delta was minus 219. Now we're back to minus 49. So the selling is pulled off a bit. So we've still got about 500 contracts left till this Dow closes. I mean, you do have the core DML underneath you. That's nice. We'll see. It's not a bad buy. The thing is, you are coming out of that daily resistance pocket, but there's a lot of support here too. Let's see where she closes. I just think it's going to want to try to test these lows, you know? It feels like it needs to go down there. So here's ES. So Dow's going to close here in about 200 contracts. I'm going to have to make a decision between Dow and ES because they're both about to close. So I would probably wait for ES. And look, Dow's probably going to break the extension, which is telling you not to take that anyways, right? So we'll see. It's going to close here in about 100 contracts, but NQ, yeah, I think they want to go for these lows, guys. ES, let's make sure we're not missing anything. Ultra bonds could be potentially signaling a short here, but then I would just go long the indices. Gold, not doing a lot. Silver, sitting here. Crude, we're still waiting for our area. We're not there yet. So let's go back. ES. So here's ES. Yeah, Johan, definitely. It's going to be interesting. We're at a make or break area now for ES. Big selling on the footprint. Nasdaq's trying to head lower. Still a lot of support though. The Dow did break, so that would invalidate that because we broke the extension. You see the pink dot. So now you just wait. So here's ES is kind of what I'm curious about here. Because we're testing through these, like, for example, if we test through these lows and you've got all this, the daily extension, you got a lot of daily support here. So if we were to test through and then suck back up and close up here, I mean, I'd probably have to buy it, but it needs to do that. Otherwise I'll wait, because it could be like, oh, well, we're going to break out to the downside. All right, well, we just read the signals. So we're going to get a close here in about 4,000 contracts on ES. NQ's pushing down. Bonds. Going to get a close here on the bonds, but I'll wait. All right. So here's ES again. It's going to close here in about 2,200 contracts. Key level, make or break here. You can see ES, all that support is stacked right there. So if that's going to break, hey Christian, can you see in your news feed, did Goolsby say something? All right, so there's the close. And we broke our extension, so I wouldn't be interested in buying that. You see, so you just gotta wait. Just read the signals here. Thanks, Christian. So not gonna do anything there. Nasdaq's the next one. You've got this could be a 2-bar. You got your extension down here, so let's wait and see. You got also these live core DMLs here. You've got the daily support level coming in here. So let's see, either these indices are breaking out to the downside or it's a false breakout and it's going to be a good reversal buy. You know, we're going to have to see. I'm really interested. If the Nasdaq holds 20,035 in here to all this, could be an interesting buy. Thanks, Christian. China's Commerce Minister Wang, decision on U.S. trade talks based on full assessment. Okay, I don't really know what that means, but sounds important. Just more of this back and forth. Yeah, thank you, buddy. Appreciate it. All right, let's make sure we're not missing anything. So ES, you're finding some support here at the daily. All that daily support stacked right there, but we did break the extension support level on close, so we don't really want to mess with this right now. Let's let it do its thing. Nasdaq is still kind of in play. You've got all that support here. Just keep an eye on that. But you know, big selling hitting the footprint. So and then we see that our levels, you know, if they're not holding, then we're not going to take them, right? But it could be a good reversal down here if the signals match up. The Dow is holding the lows so far, but as we said, it broke some key levels, so we're waiting. Ultra bonds, I mean, that's a nice little pocket flash into the high of the day, right at the true average. Probably going to be some resistance there on ultra bonds is what I'm guessing. It's probably a good short. I don't think I can trade ultra bonds on Tradeify. But on my top steps, it might be good. Let me see if I can trade. Not a bad little short there. I think on top step, I can trade that. Question is, do I want to? 3 bars, we're up here, coming out of that. Where are we on the weekly? I think on the weekly ultra bonds, we're still into some support. Let me just check the ultra bonds real quick, guys, on the higher time period. So we got the daily chart to the far right, weekly chart, ultra bonds, monthly ultra bonds, quarterly ultra bonds, yearly. So yeah, here you can see on the weekly chart, we're kind of in this support zone here. It could be some resistance here on ultra bonds. I'll go back to that. Let's look at, so ES is kind of just sitting. NQ is about to give us a close. I mean, if ultra bonds are going to go down from that flash, then indices should find support and go up. Right now, I'm not really digging the support there on the indices. Gold's kind of sitting. Silver. Crude, we're waiting for a long down here, potentially into the 60 level. Let's go back to UB.
Order filled.
All right, I just sold a little UB on top step, but I'm not going to take much risk. Like, I'm literally going to risk like 180 bucks. So we'll see. Just on those 3 top steps where, you know, I took those big silver losses. I mean, it may want to go. It's not a bad trade, so it may want to go back down here. If I lose 187 bucks on those top steps, that's fine. I think it's worth that. So we'll see what happens. Let's go over here. So ES kind of stabilizing. NQ, we're getting a close. I still not really nuts about this. It's kind of Dow. There are the ultras. So we get gold. Gold kind of sitting. Silver sitting. Crude, you got a nice little pocket here. But it's not really into an area that I would want on crude yet. We'll see if the indices can make the recovery off this. So David, 50,000 at a key level 2. Value area low, extended pocket. 10K is flashing. Yeah, definitely. I mean, if you get good confirmation on the 50K, 10K down there, David, it could be a good spot for sure. So Christian, I like how you were watching for your setups and hunting for the one that fits. Yeah, it's kind of a nice way to trade. I mean, you see, we are responding here. Let's see where NQ just got to close. Yeah, I mean, it's not a bad. Got that flash there. Probably have some support right in here. Kind of hard to say. It's not terrible. If you're getting confirmation down there, David, yeah, it's not a bad spot. ES rallying nicely. Dow, we're waiting. I'm short the ultras from 06. We'll see. My stop is just here. Gold waiting. Silver waiting. Crude waiting. Yeah, so it's all about, I mean, since I'm short the ultra bonds with a pretty tight stop, I mean, I'm kind of already in this long indices because, you know, if the indices spike, then ultra bonds should dump. So I would at least get the benefit from the spike on the indices with my short on ultras. But the question is do I want to take, definitely not ES, but my question with Nasdaq here, there's just something I'm not really buying about it yet. It may stabilize here, but we're just gonna have to wait and see. It's a little on edge. And if indices fire straight down and through the support level, then, you know, I'll be taken out with a loss on my bonds trade. That'll just have to be what it's going to be. We'll see. We don't know. Tricky day for sure. Kind of choppy as we expected with all the Fed speak, the US-China talks coming this weekend. Yeah, so David, you just have to make your decision on that if you want.
Order filled.
I'm going to close my ultras, guys. And the reason I'm closing the ultras, they could dump, but I'm just not feeling, I closed the ultras at break even, by the way. I'm just not feeling indices holding here right now. They might, but to me, it looks like they kind of want to go lower. So I'm not, I can feel, due to lots of time and experience, when I'm in this state where like, okay, I'm like this, right? That always tells me, number one, don't take a trade. And number two, if I'm in a trade, consider getting out of that trade because I don't have the clarity I like. Whereas if you go back to FOMC, right? When I saw that Dow trade, that long, bang, there's no doubt. We saw that ES trade, that long that we took, no doubt, bang. Those are the trades you want to be in, those trades with no doubt. It still doesn't mean that they work all the time. It just means that, those are the ones that you should bet on. Exactly, Johan. And they might reverse from here, They definitely could, but I'm not getting a super clear read. I do think there's a lot of support here. It could spike. I just don't know. Are you long? Yeah, I don't think it's a bad spot to be long, Johan. It's just kind of messy. I like too when you have confluence with the indices. Like the Dow still looks kind of weak to me right here. But ES and NQ look strong for the moment. That's the key. If you can take the pain. We got 11 o'clock coming up in 10 minutes. Crude trying to push. I mean, just not a lot, just kind of a lot of mess today. I mean, this is so far for me, pretty messy. Silver, let's wait. We got gold here. Trying to push. My ultras might prove to be a good call, but it's kind of the Dow that's throwing me off. I think your Nasdaq long is looking pretty good, Johan. That's what I love. To each their own. That's what's beautiful about trading, right? Yeah, Nasdaq could recover here, I think. But I just wasn't feeling it. ES is making a nice recovery. Bonds will probably crack. Try to re-enter my bonds. We're at 06 again, with the indices looking like they want to recover. So looking at ES about to close here, it's still yeah, it tried to tag me on the bonds, but didn't get filled. I'm just gonna wait, guys, right now. I'm not feeling like I understand what's happening right now. And there are days when we understand. Those are the days we gotta capitalize on. There's just something looks afoot to me. And yeah, sure, I might miss a move now and not get a winner, but when it looks afoot, I just like to wait because I don't like to be off my feet when it looks afoot. And we can just dance and have fun. All right, so I'm just waiting. Let's see if we got any closes here. ES is about to close. I'm not really sure what this is doing, to be honest, so I'm not going to do anything. I'm totally flat. I scratched my ultra bonds just because I want to wait for I want to wait and see what these markets want to do. NQ, I'm waiting. The Dow was kind of the Dow was the fly in the ointment for me, right? It was the one that just looked a little weak, and I'm like, look, NQ and ES can rally and then pull the Dow back up, but this Dow just looks a little weaker to me. And that was what was kind of like throwing me off. Because usually when you get a nice trade on the indices, you know, they all kind of look decent, you know. Ultra bonds I scratched because yeah, you got a nice signal, but if indices are going to dump a little lower, then bonds are going to push a little higher. If I don't know what's going to happen. Gold, to me, we're in no man's land here because we're in between key daily levels. Silver's not giving much. Crude, not a whole lot here. See what ES does here on the close. All right, so with ES, let's see where this wants to close. It's gonna blow my nose, guys. All right. So ES about to get a close. To me, it could go either way. I'm just gonna wait. I feel the same about Nasdaq. It's kind of either way from here. Dow's about to close. Could go either way. Ultras are just sitting there. Gold sitting there. Hopefully we'll get some volatility at 11, guys. Silver, crude. It's kind of a big congestion range here on ES. It's not really an organized congestion. We are technically trending down, but we're not through, you know, that old low. So it's kind of, for me right now, I'm just a little thrown off, is because it's just kind of a wide and wacky zone. I think there's gonna, I don't know. I don't think it's gonna be a great day to take a lot of risks, guys. That's just my opinion based on waiting for the China talks. We got these Fed speakers. I'm not really getting a lot of clarity. I think you're going to continue to see chop in this zone. Let's see, we got 11 o'clock coming here in 40 seconds. China will make things blow off. Yeah, I mean, I think you're going to hear, you'll probably hear a lot of back and forth today, like with the China situation, the Fed speakers. It's been a very tight weekly range. If you look at NQ here. Huh, nice yawn. Yeah, look, you know, you got to do what you got to do. Here comes some 11 o'clock vol. Hopefully, or not. Yeah, I'm just not really feeling that. See, there's Dow dumping again. Well, we'll see what happens with these, but I've kind of made my decision for now just to wait. I think it's a smarter course of action. There's plenty of trading days in every month, guys. So I'll tell you what, this is getting pretty quiet now. We're 11 o'clock. It's hard to say what's going to happen. I'll shut her down, but if there's volatility heading into power hour, like if something happens and we're doing some big moves and I'm at the computer, then I'll fire up a stream for Friday power hour. So I'll let you guys know. Just trade carefully today. To me, it doesn't look like a good day to put on a whole lot of risk. So I'll be watching. I'm just going to be waiting and see if I see any really good setups while I'm watching, guys. I'll post them in the Discord. So, you know, I'll let you know because I'm gonna have my charts open. I gotta do some stuff with the family. I gotta do stuff around the house while I'm checking. So, yeah, I think it's good to call it finish green on the week. Yeah. Well, thanks for being here, guys. I appreciate it. And you want to give a like on the way out. That's always helpful. And yeah, we'll see. I'll post if I take anything. I'll post it if I'm stocking anything. And if there's good volatility power hour, we can always resume again. Yeah. Thanks, Ralph. Thanks, Christian. Thanks, Nasi. Thanks, Johan. You guys, David. Appreciate you guys being here. Jose, thanks. Yeah, it's good. And I think we're gonna stream every open together next week. That's my goal, and I'm excited about that. Thanks, Technique. Nice to have you back, man. Thanks, David. Good to have you guys. All right, so be careful out there and just keep putting one foot in front of the other. Thanks, David, for being here today. David Glosser and David Rodriguez. We got two Davids. And yeah, I'll see you guys in the Discord. Thanks for the hearts. Love you guys. See ya. Bye.